stop, okay? You're spending way too much time not doing the thing that you said you were gonna do. After you watch this video, you will never struggle to implement anything that you set your heart to. I'm just putting it out there, let me be the one to say it. Listen, I'm not heartless. I can empathize, I get it, because I've been there too. Welcome to another video, guys. My name is Daksha, I'm 29 years old, and I am a product manager. What does that mean? It just means that I kind of work in tech. I work with developers, designers, and data professionals, as well as some business professionals to get a digital product shipped from start to launch. Here's the thing. I would read all the right things, I would watch all the right YouTube videos, and I would constantly consume and learn a lot of things. But when it came to actually implementing those things, I found myself, close your ears if you're sensitive, I'm gonna say a bad word, procrastinate. Yeah, dude, I would procrastinate all the time. I would find myself thinking, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and build a website, but then I would put it off for days, weeks, whatever. So then I would find myself going in this endless sort of circle of being very motivated, setting all these goals, but not really accomplishing much or barely any, or maybe stretching out a thing should only really take about a week. It would drag on and take about 3 weeks or even a month or even 2 months. After you watch this video, you will never struggle to implement anything that you set your heart to. You are capable of doing anything you set your mind to. What you might be missing though is a methodology or a process that works for you. That's okay. Everyone's brains are different. This methodology 100% works for me. If you're a little bit scatterbrained like I am, the chances are this is gonna work for you too. Without further ado, let me introduce to you the Kanban. The Kanban originated actually as part of the Toyota production system. What was happening was that factories were overproducing and wasting resources. And so Toyota engineers actually came up with this system that would organize and control inventory and actually signal when new parts would be needed. Each card kind of signaled when more parts would be needed. It was simple, it was visual, it worked, and that system quietly became one of the most widely used productivity tools in the entire world. Fast forward to today, Kanban isn't just used in factories anymore, it's actually used by developers all over the world as part of agile methodology. Tech companies use it to build products, developers use it to manage code, and I use it to design my life. Okay, I have created a Kanban board literally on my wall, and I do this no matter where I am, whether I'm at home in Toronto, whether I'm here in Victoria, or even if I'm traveling. I just quickly am able to create a Kanban board on my wall. Here are the basic principles of Kanban. I'm gonna put it up here on the screen for you guys. I'll pause, go ahead, take a screenshot, you nerds. So as I mentioned, one of the basic reasons why Kanban works is because it is visual. Okay, so the number one principle here is to visualize your work. To do, doing, in review, and done. Tasks move from left to right, and that's it. Very simple, very easy. Now here is the key, guys. You're gonna limit your work, okay? So you're gonna put a tap on the number of things that can go under the to-do column. This is key and essential. For example, if I want to build a website, I'm not going to put all of the tasks in the to-do for that week 1. It's gonna be too overwhelming, even if you don't plan on doing them all at once. Just to look at it is gonna feel overwhelming. So pick 2 to 3. That's my sweet spot, okay? For sure, when you begin this process, what you're gonna wanna do is take your big task and break it down into very manageable chunks. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Number 3, you gotta manage your flow, okay? So what this means is that you're gonna focus on how things are moving across the board. If something is taking longer than expected to move across the board, for example, from to do to doing, or from doing to in review, you're not gonna freak out about it. You're not gonna hate yourself, and you're not gonna, get down and start talking about how bad you are at doing things and getting down on yourself about procrastinating. No, you're gonna get curious. You're gonna be like, I wonder why this is taking me a little bit longer than I planned to get done. And then you're gonna go into your process and think, maybe maybe, just maybe, designing a logo has a lot more to it than I thought, and I need to break this down even further into more manageable chunks. So instead of design logo, maybe the task should then be create a Canva account, right? Find logo inspiration, and so on and so forth. So if something is taking longer than expected, chances are it's just a little too big and you just want to break it down a bit. Okay? Number 4 is making policies explicit. That means give yourself rules. All this principle is saying is that you want to make sure that it's clear to you that you got to go step by step. You can't skip your review, for example. You don't want to move from doing to done without reviewing first. This might not apply to you depending on the task you're doing. Number 5 is my favorite, feedback loops. This means that you're always checking in. Okay? And I want to see again, I want to be able to manage my flow. What that means is that I need to set a ritual every day or every week that enables me to do that reflection, make sure that things are moving along, and if they're not, ask myself why and what I can adjust and iterate and then go back and do it differently. And that brings me to the last one, continuous improvement. Like I keep saying, this isn't a static methodology, it's not strict. It does require you to iterate on yourself. But what it gives you is a basic structure and something to keep coming back to. So if something is not working in your process, it'll be super easy to identify, and then all you really have to do is break down the process a little bit, make it digestible and yummy and fun for yourself, and then go back and do it in smaller chunks. Feel good, reward yourself, and do it all over again. Where were we? Yes, let's do an example. So let's say my goal is to make and publish this video. All right, so create Kanban. Our goal for this week is create a Kanban video. Here we go, let's get started. So we have all of our tasks. We broke down this big task into small tasks. But here's the thing, we gave ourselves a limit. And what I recommended was 2 to 3 tasks max for this entire week. We're trying to set us up for success. So I'm not gonna put all of them in my to-do. I'm gonna only pick 3, maybe the first 3. So for example, creating a thumbnail, because that's always fun, writing the script, and filming. So all of those 3 things are gonna happen this week. The rest are gonna go in my backlog. And I don't have to pay attention to my backlog at all this week. Every morning when I do my little stand-up, I'm gonna come up to my board, I'm gonna pick an item that feels the most fun to work on that day and move it to the doing. So for example, today, filming was my heart's desire. And so that is my focus of the day. I moved it to the doing. Maybe tomorrow, filming is in review, which means that might become my task of the day that I pick up in the morning to just sit down and review what I filmed, maybe transfer it into my laptop or whatnot. Now, writing a script, or when it comes to something like editing a video, this can become quite big. So something like editing a video actually seems like one step, but it might, for some people, be super overwhelming, especially if you're new to it and you've never done it before. And then what might happen is that you might find yourself procrastinating. So you'll find yourself dragging on this task for weeks and weeks and it never gets done. As soon as you identify that something's taking a bit too long to move across the board, you're gonna think about how you could break it down a little bit further into smaller parts so it doesn't feel as overwhelming. And that's pretty much it. Let's move over here. This is my done column. Oh my God, the euphoria, the magic, the dopamine hit that you get for moving something from in review to done. It is freaking fantastic. That's why the visual cue principle totally works for this board. Seeing it every day, seeing your accomplishments every day is really fun. And then you have a visual representation of the progress that you're making every single day, every single week. Okay, that was the Kanban method. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know how it goes, and I'll be here if you need me. See ya. Okay, so in the 1940s, Toyota was struggling with waste. They were creating way too many cars and they were wasting a whole bunch of resources. So the engineers at Toyota created a very simple visual methodology to help reduce the waste and keep everybody on track. It was essentially a system of cards called Kanban, which literally means visual card in Japanese. Each card just signaled whenever a part was needed. It was super simple, easy, and super effective. And now, engineers and development teams from all over the world use the same methodology. They use the same methodology to increase productivity. So chances are any company that you can think of, Google, Apple, OpenAI, the engineers at these companies are definitely using the Kanban methodology. So if we can use this methodology to churn out great products, we can definitely use it to manage our lives and the things that we create.